Doesn't it suck? You're this close to shooting your fish and all of a sudden something goes wrong and the fish escapes. Well, most of the time the problem is the way you adapt to the environment. The fish, they just feel you. They know that you don't belong there and, well, they don't want to come close because they feel threatened. And right about now you're gonna say, Anvar, wait, where are we? What is this all about? When I think about adaptation, I'm trying to find examples in the nature. And it so happened that the nature is the most beautiful example for adaptation. The forest behind me and everything around me, it might seem like it's dead, but in reality we all know that it's just the way the nature adapts to the weather, to the climatic conditions. There are hundreds of thousands of different creatures living here. You have some mosses, some plants, some trees, some flowers, some spiders, some bugs, some birds. A lot of creatures. But somehow they found a way to live together with each other in harmony. Of course there are some problems here and there, but in general it's a beautiful harmony. And once you think of the sea, it's more or less the same thing. Look, it's a complete system, and us humans, we enter the system expecting some magical results. But it doesn't work this way. We have to find a way to adapt to the system. We have to find our place within the system and to merge with it beautifully. And it takes some time, it takes some experience, it takes a lot of thinking for sure. But this is what this episode is all about. Adaptation. Adaptation is the absolute key to being a good Spearo. But when we think about adaptation, I think we should employ this very general perspective. So just try to think of spearfishing the way you think about your normal life.
As Anwar said, the adaptation is the most important thing for us. Because think about this, we are in this city of Izmir, the beautiful city of Izmir, and I'm living in Izmir, and I have to adapt myself to Izmir. Like my clothes, like my hat, I have to adapt to the foods of Izmir. I have to adapt all these factors. So it's the same in the water. You have to adapt your equipment, your psychology, your fitness. That's the point.
It's a different adaptation in very clean and good visibility waters that you have problems with calculate the distance between you and the fish because it seems close but it's not. You have a problem to calculate the speed of the fish, the distance from you to the fish, or the depth, and this makes things even kind of dangerous, and you have to be alert and keep the safety procedures more. In the shallow waters, when there is very bad visibility or strong current, you have to adapt to other kind of conditions. You have to be able to shoot fast and accurate. You have to be alert for everything because you don't have enough visibility.
So yes, in general, this should be your careful approach. Are you going deeper? Are you targeting the fish using a special technique? Like if you were to spear using aspetto, probably you might want to consider a longer gun if the fish is very scared of you. Probably if you do aspettos in murky water, you might want to have a shorter gun. And then every little point, it can be broken down into further different pieces. Think of spear guns. Some people would say, I spearfish an aspetto and I want a very long gun. And they just get the first long gun that they see, like 120, well, in Mediterranean terms, it's a long gun. They get this 120 centimeter spear gun and they think they are the kings of aspetto. And they think, okay, I'm gonna shoot fish with a standard setup from like 5 meters, 6 meters, I don't know, whatever you dream of. And they don't. For some reason, they have this longer gun. They see the fish, but it doesn't work, because very often the gun is not really the key to more fish. Sometimes it is, but very often it is not. And you have to reconsider the situation. Okay, the fish is there, the gun is there, I'm there, but for some reason it doesn't click. I still don't get any fish. And then hopefully you start this mental process. Okay, is the problem with the gun? Is the problem with me? Is the problem with the way I spearfish? But let's say you're certain that it's a spear gun and you need a new one. Are you gonna get a standard rail gun, a roller, a double roller, an inverted roller, a pneumatic spear gun? So many options. I'm not sure what is the best one, but do your research. Let's say you're fixed that it's 120 rail gun. Which combination? Two 14mm bands with a 7mm shaft, 3 16s with an 8mm shaft, 1 17.5 with a 7mm shaft. Every combination, every possible combination is gonna bring you very different results. Not to say that some combinations just don't make any sense. Let's say it's a spear gun and you have this new spear gun, the combination is ideal, you know that it will work, but all of a sudden you're in the water and there either is no fish or the fish just doesn't come within the range. Well, maybe it's not the gun after all, and maybe it's the suit which is too tight and you cannot relax on the bottom, and because of not being able to relax you feel very aggressive, you cannot blend with the environment and the fish feels it, so they're not stupid, they're not gonna come if you're so aggressive. Maybe it's the fins or your finning technique, which is a bit weird, you make a lot of sounds, dentics which you really want to shoot, they hear you, they feel you, they get scared of you and they go away. It's not the gun after all. You see, it's a very wide field and you have to compare and contrast, you have to match many different elements. But let's say your equipment is right. Let's say your equipment is ideal and you're confident that it's good and it works, but are you being able to use the equipment within the environment?
For example, on your way down, you are trying to reach a rofo out of his rock. It's things that you need to adapt according to the behavior of the fish. If the fish calm, you have to calm as well to keep falling down in a way that you go close, but you show that you don't go straight to the fish, or you have to be in a mode that you can see things on the fish. For example, if you see that his eyes is looking 2 times on the same spot, that means he's checking if he has a clean access to his rope, or he's ready to go to his rope because start feeling fear or someone is threatening the fish, or the change of color, or the change of the nails, they move their nails up or down or so on. All these things you have to define and adapt your technique, your speed, your movement. When it's far from me, the first look to the fish is maybe through experience. You understand, or you might realize what is the fish willing to do. For example, if it's a fish that's scared, it will move different. If he is a fish that he's on a hunting mode or he's in curiosity, he's moving different, or he's acting different according to the side of you. So according to this, you have to adapt your next movement and the plan of your dive, so to reach the fish on a shooting distance.
And now, once you think about your equipment and your spearfishing technique and your environment, and you're mentally ready to go for it, you're like, wait, but I do and I still don't get any fish. Because you see, regardless of which level you go to in details, you can always go further. And in spearfishing, this is probably the key. You have to understand you're there to shoot fish, probably. Like, in the end of the day, you would want to have a fish. And in order to get the fish, you need to find the best way to accomplish this mission. And you have to adapt your own self to the fish. If it's an amberjack, they behave differently from the grouper. Grouper behaves completely different from a dentex. And there are plenty of other different fish regarding your own environment, and you will have to be ready to plan according to the fish that you're seeing in front of your eyes, or the fish that you think you will see in front of your eyes. Think about the stuff that you do. Think about the way you approach the fish. Think of your sea days. You have to break it down into the elements. And I know many people say, well, you know, it's not about mathematics, it's about just enjoying it. But in the end, you just end up being frustrated. You spend a lot of time, effort and money, and there is nothing. You see the fish, but you don't get it. What I'm telling you, don't spend more. Just think a bit more. Analyze the stuff that you go through. Analyze your approach. And I'm pretty sure if you do that, you're gonna see some patterns emerge. And then all you have to do is just adapt yourself to those patterns. And voila, fish, fish, fish. Much better time with your friends and much better experience in the sea. And I'll see you all deep very soon.